It's tournament time here in Rockville Center as the Malloy women's volleyball team earns the second seed in the ECC tournament upcoming this Friday. And now I'm here with head coach Steve Woessner. Steve, thanks for sitting down with me.
Appreciate you having me, Robert.
Longtime assistant of the program, you step into a head coaching role this year. What's been the biggest transition for you from assistant to head coach?
Yeah, I mean, as an assistant, you're able to have the luxury of focusing more on the volleyball as opposed to the system at large and maybe some more technical individual instruction. So I think the biggest transition for me was implementing some new systems offensively and defensively and focusing on, an efficient practice plan day to day. And then obviously the game day side of things is a little bit different, kind of my role. So being a little bit more hands-on on the in-game coaching and in-game instruction and timeout management has been probably the biggest adjustment for me so far.
And what are the systems that you took that you like to implement into this year that maybe in the past that was either not used or maybe a little bit overlooked?
Yeah, we changed our defensive setup a little bit. Thought we could have had a little bit more success and start to funnel balls a little bit more to our better defenders. So that's kind of the realm of thinking behind the defensive setup. And then offensively too, we got a lot of live arms in the gym, so making sure we're making good use of those guys and really putting our setters in good spots to be able to deliver balls fast and try to catch the defense a little off balance and the block a little bit late to set up. So I think that's led to a lot of the offensive success as well.
Let's talk about that offensive success. You guys run a two-set six-man crew on the court a lot of times, which has opened up Julia Zalt on the outside. How important is that to have really two good setters and then able to have your primary setter be an outside hitter?
Oh, it's huge. For instance, last year we didn't have someone in the front row on the right side for all 6 rotations. So you're dependent a little bit more on those 2 guys in the front row to be able to score points to get you out of some rotations or, scoring out of that back row spot. But to be able to have 3 hitters in the front at each given time to be able to score and score efficiently has been super big for us because now we can pass balls kind of all over the court and trust that, whether we're putting up a help set or our setters can get the hands on the ball, that, we're putting ourselves in a pretty good spot to score regardless of the location of that pass. So it's been great to have, Julia opened up a little bit to be able to utilize her arm and her offensive IQ to be able to score some points and make some runs.
To another surprise that we've seen this year, after 2 years of not playing a whole lot, Erin Stanley has become one of your best outside hitters. Talk about her development that you've seen from the beginning of the year up to this point.
Yeah, she's been great. Her development has been, skyrocketing. And even last year in practices, there would be some practices that if she's on your team, you're going to end up winning the scrimmage. So she's really channeled that and been able to translate that into some gameplay offensively. But I think the biggest thing that she's bringing to our side right now is her block setup and being able to slow down a lot of the best hitters on the other side. So, a lot of the volume from a lot of these teams, a lot of the balls are going to the outside. So having someone like Erin who's there, who's big, disciplined, controlled, really has been able to kind of slow that up offensively for the other side and be able to at least, if not block a ton of balls, funnel balls to Aria, who's doing a great job back there as well.
Now let's talk about Aria. Defensively, she's one of the most stout liberos you could possibly ask for, her alongside freshman Haven Trechter. How important is that communication back there with Aria taking the primary role of being defensive and getting those hard digs to keep the ball in play?
It's great, and she's always had the skill to be able to do that. If you even, watching back at her freshman year, she's been that type of player all 4 years here. But now she has that sort of veteran experience and that senior leadership, and she's really soaking up the time that she has left here and has really been pouring that love into the other serve receivers and the other defenders and making sure that they all understand their assignments and have trust in each other and trust in the system. And she's been massive in that. So to have her be able to shore things up back there has taken a lot of pressure off of us as coaches to be able to really manipulate things defensively and trust that the fluidity of what we're doing is really pretty dialed in.
Let's talk about the grit of this team. It seems no matter what the score is on the scoreboard, this team does not stop fighting to get to the end of the set. Whether you're down 5 or you're up 5, the same attitude is always instilled. How do you keep that consistent throughout the whole year when there could be lulls just through the course of a long season?
Yeah, I mean, it's a game of runs for sure. There's no lead in this league, in this conference, this region that's safe, and we've seen that on both sides. We've seen it when we've been down big, and we've seen it when we were up big. So it's important to keep a level head throughout those, not get too high with the highs and not get too low with the lows, and trust that it just takes 1 or 2 runs for us to get back in the game and vice versa too. So it's important to stay consistent with our side out game and continue to serve tough and try to get some easy balls back in transition. And that's just kind of what we've been hanging our hats on. So trusting that no matter what the score is, that we can still play our game and and still find a way to get across the finish line.
So you go into the ECC tournament as the number 2 seed. You'll take on Damon on Friday. What's the mentality switch like now going from the regular season to postseason play, as things kind of always get a little bit tighter as you get into postseason play?
Yeah, that's natural. There's always a little bit more pressure, but we talk about how that pressure is a privilege that not a lot of teams get to feel. So this is what you sign up for. When you play college ball, when you come to Malloy, this is the situation that you want to be in. So trying to strike that balance between soaking up the time that we have and trying to extend this season as much as we can, and also understanding that it's just another day of business. We try to train throughout the season like it is a playoff atmosphere, so that when we do get into this situation that we feel like we've been there before. So I think that's been key to us, is just sort of sticking to what we've been doing really well and just fine-tuning a couple things here and there, but not really changing what we're doing too systematically.
Malloy women's volleyball team enters the ECC tournament on Friday against Damon.